So this is recording, bro.
This is going.
This is going.
What up? Which camera? This camera? That camera?
All cameras.
All cameras.
All cameras across. But this
What's
one's
up?
catching you, this one's catching me, and this one's catching both of us.
What's going on, everybody?
What's
We're
going
here.
on?
We're here. Live.
That's right. That's right, man.
Lucky Brain.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jairo. I appreciate it. You coming down, man. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
I wanted to have. Yeah, you're welcome. I wanted to have you on because you're interested. You fuck with my boy Johnny, and I
What
see
up
you
to
at
Nine?
what up to 9 Diamond, and I see you at the studio working on your stuff, and I want to have, like I was saying, like we were saying before the podcast, I want to be able to reach a larger audience, and I want to have people on here who are interesting people, who are positive people, and have some story or some experience to share that's going to help other people. That's the main thing of it, and then plus just be entertaining as well.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, man, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. Any
100%.
platform that us as artists can be on, man, we'll take it.
Yeah,
you know, especially
sure.
when, you know, at the end of the day, it's all a community, you know. John, Nine, you know, whoever, Santos, you know, whoever you've had on this podcast before, and, you know, us. At the end of the day, it's a community. We're all just trying to do something positive, you know. So whenever there's an opportunity to record music with somebody else, if they reach out to me, if I reach out to them, you know, if it's a podcast, if it's whatever, a music video shoot, man, yes. When you're on the come up, it's yes.
Yeah,
I should just have a what do you call it, like a stamp, just yes.
Yes.
So I'm more than happy to be here, man.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, thanks again. I really appreciate it. So, how did you get into music? That's like the first question I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I got into music because Eminem, Marshall Mathers. When I was 13 years old, I was at my mom's friend's house. She was having like late night dinner with her friend, and there was this boombox on the ground. I was 12, 13 years old, and it had a bunch of like CDs everywhere with the, you know, the hard cases or whatever. And I ran into, and I was putting them on, you know, don't like, I like it. And then I ran into this thing called the Eminem Show, which was like one of the greatest albums of all time. And I pressed play, and it was, you know, White America, and it was just the emotion behind his, like, I didn't even really then understand, because I'm originally from Mexico City, and I had just been in the States by then, just a few years, so I didn't even really understand the lyrics, but it was the emotion coming within that I really fell in love with. And I'm like, you know what, let me try to do this. And that was the beginning, man. You know, after that, kept going, and started writing my own raps, started downloading beats, which 9 Diamond is one of the earliest producers that, you know, one of them that I was downloading their beats from back in, like, before even like YouTube was even a thing, bro. Like, I was downloading beats of like the websites, you know what I mean? And just kept practicing, kept going, and, you know, now we're here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you moved from Mexico City to Minnesota to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So what would you say is, I'm pretty sure the move in trying to do music or in doing music prompted you to move from Minnesota to LA, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Me and one of my friends who I just had on the podcast before this, we were talking about, like, if you want to make it, you either go to like LA or New York, generally speaking, right? So it's interesting to hear people's perspective whenever they're from out of state, because I'm a Los Angeles native, so this is kind of just what I grew up with and what I know. So
it's normal.
Yeah. So what would you say is like one of the big differences in terms of opportunity from Minnesota to Los Angeles? Yeah,
well, and I think one of the biggest opportunities is the fact that a lot more people in entertainment, period, video, podcast, radio, music, acting, theater, whatever you may be into, right, is all here, man. In places, and I can, and in places like Minneapolis, and I can pretty much speak for the entire Midwest. Then, you know what I mean? Like, you're just not around the entertainment culture like the way you grew up with. So to you, it's very normal. To you, this is not out of the normal. You know what I mean? For us, we look at Los Angeles, and I want everybody else to know this. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day. I want everybody else to know, and people who are not from Los Angeles know this, Marty. We see Los Angeles, we see you guys as like, wow, that's it. If I can go to California, if I can go to LA, I can make it happen. Yeah. Like, we see you guys as like the top. You know what I mean? So being able to come out here and get some things done is great. but it's a big facade, my brother. It's a
Yeah.
big facade, and you know this. As far as like people think it's easy, yes, like the advantage is the fact that we live in this entertainment culture, but man, it's difficult, man. It's hard. You really
Sure.
really gotta hustle it for you to meet the right person, for you to continue to be better at your craft. As we all know, rent is not cheap in Los Angeles.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like that has a factor to do with it. The fact that the expenses are a lot higher than somewhere like Minneapolis, you know? So it's great that people see Los Angeles like that, but man, you got to know that the grass is not greener on the other side. You got to put in that work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like do you feel me what I'm saying with that?
I feel you 100%.
Like I don't know if I'm making any sense, but
No, I feel you 100%.
that's the way I've experienced it.
Yeah, when people come over here, they see the actors and they see the rappers and they see the movie stars or whatever. And like you said, it is a facade, but then it's not, because it's actually really happening over here.
No, yeah, absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
people do come over here and then they make it big. And one of the reasons why they make it big is because they came over here. And that's just like one step in the process of many steps.
Yeah. And I think that's what I mean. Maybe facade was the wrong word, but that's what I mean. Like you don't realize. I don't think most people realize like the progress and the process really behind, first of all, just living over here, and then second of all, trying to be successful in entertainment.
Right.
So there's more to it than just the flashy, whatever houses and weather and all that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Growing up in Los Angeles, I've been super fortunate to be a part of, I guess, the movement that is being a person that is from LA, when you're able just to go to the beach any day of the week, because it's only 30 minutes to, an hour away, even if you live all the way east of downtown Los Angeles. So there's many benefits in living in Los Angeles, but like you said, there's many bad things about living in Los Angeles, and one of them is the cost of living.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But just like anything, Marty, you know what I mean? And just like anywhere and anything, there's always like up and downs, you know what I mean? Whether it's in relationships, whether it's in at your job, whether it's at anything, there's always gonna be something, right?
Sure.
So like here, I will say though, just to say it on record, man, LA's what like feels home to me.
Nice.
It really is, just because like being from Mexico City and growing up in the Midwest like Minneapolis, I get to see both of those worlds here, right? The fact that I can speak Spanish just literally at anywhere in LA, I can pretty much speak Spanish, feels so much like home to me.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to obviously speak English and have American food and then Mexican food, and like,
yeah,
I don't know, man, like to
This
me
is a spot.
it really is like this like good balance. So to me it's all worth it, and on top of that, I'm a recording artist and I want to be successful in that. So it's like,
you're
that's
in the
all
right place.
in the right place.
You're in the
Man,
perfect place.
I'm telling you, I'm really happy to be here, man. I've been here for 3 years now. I've been back and forth forever since I was a kid, because I have family here. But man, this is the place to be, and I'm super happy to be here, man. Like there's no place in the world that I'd rather live.
Yeah, same
I
here.
will say that.
Yeah, same here. And the reason why I say that is because I've had the opportunity to travel to many different places, and everywhere is cool, like Hawaii or London or Paris or Asia, and other place. And I don't know if it's just because I'm biased here, but hearing you say that this is the place because it's the right balance really rings a bell in my head. Because for me,
That's awesome.
whenever I was at New York, there's too much city. Whenever I'm in Hawaii, there's too much nature. So it's like really, really slow.
Yeah.
LA kind of like brings the best when it comes to geography of city and then also nature. So I like that combination. It's the right balance for me. And I'm super fortunate to have lived in Los Angeles because again, just like kind of bring it back to music, like you can just go to a spot in Hollywood and see like some really talented live musicians, or go to like a networking event like easily because all the people and all the talent are here for the most part, or they're in New York or in the South or something, but mainly they're divided between LA and New York.
Yeah.
So this is the spot, man. Like if you're trying to do music,
Yes.
I would feel strongly that LA is one of the spots in the United States that you should be.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. You know what I mean? I 100% agree. If that's what you're trying to do, if you have the opportunity to do it, you know, go ahead and by all means, go ahead and try it out and see how it works out for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
if anybody's listening,
yes,
that is living in the Midwest, or living down south or something, LA is a viable spot for you to come and create opportunities. So tell me a little bit more. So you're in Minnesota and you're listening to Nine Diamonds beats.
Yeah.
How do you end up coming over here and actually physically working with him? Do you guys email?
Yeah. So I was literally sitting at a Chipotle after the workout. I was sitting at a Chipotle, and at that time it was 2014, summer of 2014. And I had just got done with recording school and music business school, right? So I'm looking to like, what's the next step in my music thing, right? And man, I was at a Chipotle, and I was just like, man, this guy his beats are always really hot. He's in LA. I didn't even think he was gonna respond. So I sent him an email. It was like a Bible, you know what I mean? Like super long email, just explaining who I was, how long I've been messing with his music, and if there was an opportunity for me to come out and work with them. Because if there is, I'd love to come out and work on some original production. Fortunately enough, he hit me back that summer, and that February of 2015 came to LA, and we made LA Love on the first day. I met him, and it felt like LA Love is, if you haven't, go to my YouTube channel, Jairo Experience, Jairo Experience, and you'll see one of my music videos, LA Love. And that was literally the first song we ever made on the first day. We shook hands. It felt like I'd known the guy for years.
Wow.
It was super weird. And then I met his brother, Mike, who's a great friend of mine. It just felt like we were homies for years, man. Yeah. It's kind of rare. I'm sure you've had that experience with other people, but on that first day we made LA Love, and then after that, kind of the rest is history. We just started working together more and more. Ended up moving here. And now we're working on my third EP now.
Very cool. Yeah, Johnny's one of my good friends as well, and I would have to say that I do know many people who are musically gifted, and Johnny is one of the most musically gifted people that I've ever met. And I think it's something that may have come natural to him, whether it's having rhythm or just an ear for music. But he's been doing it for so long that now his technical capabilities are just immense. Yeah. And you can testify to this, right?
Absolutely.
Whatever you want to do, technically, he can make that happen.
He'll make it happen.
Right?
And that's why I come back to him. He'll make it happen, And I've told him this. Multiple times. So it's not something I'm just saying without him being here. I'm like, dude, if you keep it up, it's only a matter of time. You're really, really good. Right. And he just looks at me like, yeah, what's the next one you want to work on? But I've said that to him multiple times.
Same here.
He's really good, and he's past the technical level where he can just create. And that's what it's about when you're a creative person, right? It's about getting over the technical parts of for us as artists, singing or rapping or coming up with melodies or using Pro Tools and recording yourself or mixing or mastering, whatever is the technical thing. But once you get past the technical and you become really good at that, where it's second nature, then you're really starting to make damage now, because now you're working on what's really important, which is creating something special for the people. Yeah. At the end of the day, for me as an artist, I make the music for the people, right? It's for the people, by the people, literally, you know what I mean? I'll work on a music video, and I'll spend a ridiculous amount of money on a music video and ridiculous money making an album or an EP, the photo shoots and the assistants and who's gonna shoot the music video, the production, the clothing you gotta buy, and then all of it, and then actually the promotion, on social media and everything that comes with it. Yeah. To literally just put it up on YouTube, and y'all can just view it for free. Yeah. Because that's what we do as artists. You know what I'm saying? For me, that's what I do. I do it because it brings me joy to create something that can bring somebody else happiness, or can bring somebody else, I don't know, an experience. That's what it is. That's why the YouTube channel, it's Jairo Experience. Because it's about me wanting to bring that experience. And I'm serious. That's what it's about. Me and Mike, who's Johnny's brother, and me and Nine always have those conversations. That's what my brand is about. It's about when you go to a restaurant, right, and you go for a nice burger, right? Let me put it this way. You go there because the burger's really nice. The burger is the music, right? But the Jairo Experience has to be more than that to be successful in the music business. If they're playing the right music, it's nice little music that goes with the, with the vibe. The restrooms are clean. The service is really good. You know what I'm saying? Now you're starting to build an experience. And on top, but I'm only here for the food though. I'm only here for the burger. And on top of that, all these other things are amazing. That's what me and Nine try to create every time when we make music. Yeah. That's what I try to create when I do a show or do a tour or do a music video. Everything matters, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds very detail oriented. Mm-hmm. And that's important. You got to pay attention to the details. But I like what you said about creating something. As a creative person, I was having a conversation literally just right before this with a person who is an A&R. Maybe I can hook you guys up. He works for CBS, and he works with artists and helps them develop. And I think something that is very important is to know is that we're all creators. I just posted something on Instagram today that says something by Albert Einstein. It's like, look, if you take different people and have them all test for the same exact thing, people are going to test higher than others. However, we're not all the same. We have different interests and we're naturally inclined to do different things. So there's a genius per se in all of us. And I think in order to bring that genius out, you have to create something. You have to create something. And I think that's very, very powerful, because even when I do this podcast, I'm creating this podcast, I'm creating this content. And the more that I create, you get almost like you're strengthening a creative muscle. Yeah. And the more ideas that come, it's very inspiring and it creates a lot of momentum. Do you feel that when you're creating an EP? Do you feel like I mean, of course, when I'm doing this podcast as well, I mean, I have some technical challenges, some editing challenges, some guests cancel, and there's things that go astray along the way.
Always. But I say 90% of the time that always happens when we're,
Yeah, but ultimately, it gives me a great sense of success whenever I am able to be doing exactly this. Yeah. Do you feel that with your music? Because it sounds like you are creating for the people, by the people. Yeah. So that is very, very important, because I think that whenever you are creating content, you want to provide some type of value to the person, whether if it's this podcast, whether it's being entertaining or whether it's being informative, whatever it is, you need to provide some type of value ultimately in order for people to consume your product or your service.
Ultimately, exactly right. And hopefully along the way, they have some type of experience, hopefully a good one, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, we all want entertainment, and that's why we go to the movies, that's why we go to shows. And, we're fans too of you're a fan of other people's podcasts, the ones you wouldn't be doing this podcast. And I'm a fan of Eminem when I first started, you know what I mean? Like just how, I'm making music now. So eventually, like, that's the one thing that I think that's really dope. People still want entertainment. And as long as the people still want it, we'll give it to them,
Yeah, exactly. Imagine, and this is a interesting concept, but imagine if you were Eminem. Imagine if you were Eminem. The circle of influence that you would be surrounded with, it would be you're with legends. I mean, Dr. Dre, for example. Yeah. I mean, that's so cool. And if you have a musical talent, which I heard your music and I like it, you do have a musical
Appreciate
talent.
It, man.
Yeah. And you linking up with Johnny is, I think, a brilliant idea. So just like Eminem has had a musical talent, but then, like you said, honed the skills, crafted it, worked really hard, persevered. This shit is a struggle, dog. Yeah. But the more we can complete projects, the more we can complete episodes, I think it just brings us closer and closer to that. It just brings more progress
to that goal, you know what I mean? And to whatever your goal may be, for me, it's creating a bigger audience and reaching everybody in the world at some point eventually. That's the dream. You know what I mean? And doing it, I guess, through music. But I've always been like really big on like motivational speaking and things like that too. And I always have conversations with my friends about once the music, when it happens, right? And that is happening, man, so many other avenues that I'm gonna want to take that I'm
for
gonna take.
sure.
You know, like whether that's motivational speaking, whether that's a clothing brand, opening your own restaurant. You know, there's other ways in how we can contribute to our families, right? Once we have the platform, but to contribute to the people. You know what I mean? And bringing what I think is good Mexican food. Right, per se. I'm gonna maybe bring a Mexican restaurant, right? Whatever it may be. Like, this is what I think. Like, that's the reason why I make music. Like, the music I make is because I think this is good. So hopefully other people think it's good. So then I create it. You know, just like clothing. You know, this is the type of clothing I like to wear. So maybe someday when I have the opportunity to financially, you know, make it and provide that service for the people, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 100%. Dude,
that's
I mean,
goal.
you sound like you're a creative person, and you are a creative person, and I really enjoy that. I like having people who are on the podcast who are people who enjoy doing something and are actually doing that thing.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so many people, so many of us that enjoy doing things but don't do them for whatever reason. You know how they say, like, people who have dreams don't really pursue them? You know what I mean? There's so many people like that. Mm-hmm. And I think that... Oh, let me turn this bad boy on here. Maybe it's a little bit... Not sounds the same, but I think it should... more power. It's the phantom power.
Phantom power.
But I think that... What was I saying?
You were talking about the people.
I was talking about the people, and I was talking about... Oh, fuck.
We are having technical difficulties, everybody. Technical difficulties.
No. I'll remember it, but I'm just gonna talk, and maybe it'll come back.
Yeah.
But, there's so many people that want to create something but never do it, and I want to be an inspiration as well, and I've given motivational talks as well, and the content that I've put out, people actually come up to me and say, hey, you know what, your videos take me from like right here to right here. So I'm essentially trying to do that, whether it's through entertainment or helping some people gain some type of information or something. And I think that's important for anybody who's listening. I think that you need to start off like small, and there's a guy named Dr. Jordan Peterson who's a pretty controversial public figure that wrote a book, and he talks about, and this sounds stupid, but I think it's true. He says aim low. People say like aim for the stars, and if you miss, you'll land on a cloud. I think that's true as well. But an issue is if you aim too high, you're probably gonna think that goal is so unattainable that you probably never get started at all.
No, that's
so
true.
like doing one video, if you're a podcaster, or doing one episode, if you just do one. Mm-hmm. Make that a goal. Like let me just do one, and then let me do another, and let me do another. So let me get like 3 done. Boom, and then you set your goals like that.
Exactly.
And then from there, you have to build up momentum. This shit's just not gonna come to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a interview with like Will Smith or something where he's talking about his dad made him and his brother build a wall.
That's right.
A little wall, like bricks and stuff, right? And he was like,
brick by brick.
Like, I didn't look at the thing as like, I gotta build this big ass wall. Like, it was more like, I'm gonna lay one brick at a time, and and soon you have a wall. So that's the same concept you're talking about.
That's the same concept.
So yeah. So like you gotta have small goals to get to your bigger goal, right?
Yeah.
So I totally get it.
Man, that's great. But I think that's probably a motivational topic.
Yeah.
That's something that's a piece of information I think that's very important for people to listen to, because when you're making your music, what is the first piece of creative content can you remember that you created?
Like the first time, like my first song I ever written?
Yeah, like the first song that you ever wrote.
The first song I ever wrote was probably really bad. It was I was in 5th grade, and it was for the DARE program. Okay. Like don't do drugs type of thing. Yeah. And I remember going up to the principal and like next, because they would come every other month or something. And like next one, like I like to do a little rap. Yeah. And at the time rap had a really bad rep, more than today. And they're like, well, as long as you rap about not doing drugs and stuff, we'll do it. So I did it. It was probably really bad. It was really bad. But
I think did you feel like you learned anything from that?
Absolutely. It was my first song, so it was like then I'm able to like okay, look at the playback if someone was recording, right? And like, wow, that movement really sucks. I probably shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like I used to yell. Marty, I used to yell at people's faces when I perform.
Oh man.
I used to yell at them, man. Like I remember I went to this one high school and it was like the dare thing, right? And then they took me to go perform at this high school, and I'm rapping to their face, like, and I'm like yelling at them.
Yeah, probably not a good move.
No, not a good move. But at the moment, you're not realizing that until you see yourself. So what did I learn from it? Is you get to learn how to get better.
Yeah.
You know. So in that instance, it was not yelling at people while I'm performing.
Yeah. When I was part of the Toastmasters organization, which is an organization for public speaking, teaching people how to speak in public. One of the things they say is record your speech, like record it on video so that you can see your tendencies, whether it's you're yelling at somebody or you have your hands, you're playing with your ring or you're fixing your tie too much, whatever your idiosyncrasies are. I think that's the word. Idiosyncrasies are that are not adding value to the speech or to the performance, then that really shows you what not to do.
And it takes that, and that's exactly right. And take it a step further. That's the people that you're around also. Who's advising you, right? Yeah. Because I've had a few relationships where, go through several different managers and this and that. You gotta, the same way like this camera is telling us, give us information on how my movement is and exactly what you're talking about, recording your own speech. You also gotta really be careful who you're around, right? Because they're the first people who tell you, no, don't move like that. When you're recording, when we're doing a music video, right? There's somebody on set like, oh no, don't do that movement, do this, because you can't see yourself. Right. You know what I mean? So that's great. That's having good people around you is my other part to that conversation. Because they will be able to tell you like, what is missing. As long as those people have the right intentions, Marty.
Gotcha.
Because if those people don't have the right intentions, right, then they're making you out to feel like there's really something wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like, so you just gotta be careful who you're around. Put yourself around good people so they can help you grow faster. Yeah,
if you're being advised by people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, then that's gonna lead you astray, especially if you trust these people's judgment. Yeah. So having a support group around you to people that are gonna tell you the things that you're doing well, but also tell you the things that have the people around you that will tell you the things that you could improve on is something really important. But you need to be advised by people who actually know what they're talking about. And I think that's very important. It kind of leads into a segue of just having good people around you. And kind of the reason why I think that moving to LA, if you're from a place that doesn't have a lot of opportunities when it comes to music or entertainment, is a good idea, because now that you're here, you're able to be in the studio actually collaborating with someone who is, in my opinion, a musical genius. I really think that he's like really good, and I swear to God, like he's like you said, it's only a matter of time before Johnny does something really, really big if he consistently goes at the pace that he's going. And I think that he's doing fine, and I think that he needs to collaborate with more artists in order to, just like this podcast, build more recognition for himself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and it's difficult and it's hard, and it's hard for me, it's hard for him, and it's hard for people who are listening to this that want to chase whatever they want to do. Discipline is tough, man. It's tough. It's tough. There's so many distractions on the cell phone, on the gram, on TV, politics, what I'm saying? All the crazy stuff that's going on, man. Like, and just the will to chase your thing is difficult, to be consistent. What I've noticed is, cool, you want to make your first EP, your first album, your first podcast, that's cool. Do it for 5 years at that same level. That's difficult, and that's the game we're playing. Yeah. You think these people like Drake and DJ Khaled and Kanye, you know what I'm saying? Like, those people, man, right. You think they got it, like, they got it, but man, they are fighting every single day. And I know this because I've been making music for a while, and I'm realizing this throughout the years. They are fighting every day to stay relevant. Gotcha. It's one thing doing it, and another thing doing it right. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And the consistency is like super key.
Gotcha. Let me press record on these really quick.
For sure.
They have like a 30-minute limit. So
the DSLRs do have a 30-minute limit.
Yeah.
Except for that right there.
Yeah, iPhone, baby.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yeah, man. So consistency is super key, but at the same time, like the hardest thing you could ever do.
Yeah, I agree. So what is the how would you recommend to somebody to stay consistent? Because whenever I think about consistency, I read this book. It's called The Slight Edge Theory, and I think it's by Jeff Olson. And it's a really good book that basically talks the theory of success nor failure is an immediate event. It just doesn't happen. Like there's no such really thing as an overnight success, in my opinion. There's people who do the work behind the scenes and then finally they blow. But on the contrary to that success, there's people who are doing the work in the opposite way, drinking too much, eating too much, not exercising. And then day by day you're making these decisions that either improve your life or derail it. And then all of a sudden you find yourself, boom, overweight, or you find yourself with fucking cirrhosis of the liver, or all of a sudden you find yourself like Drake, like fucking Drake. You know, there's this interview where he's like, oh, you know, Wayne hit me on the phone. Hey, what's going on? Or,
I think I've seen it. Yeah.
You know, and then you just never know. But I think it's doing the small things each day. Like you said, accomplishing the small goals each day to lead you to the bigger goal. But the issue that we're talking about is the discipline. Like how do you stay disciplined?
For me is like keeping like a few people, like the same 3 people that have been down with me since like day one, to like, you've got to get, it's got to be better than the next. You know what I mean? Cool, that song is dope. The next one got to be better. That video is dope. The next one got to be better. To me, it's just the people I'm around.
Gotcha.
Like the people I'm around to just make sure, like, just to keep me on the right track, to stay consistent. You know what I mean? Like that really for me is what has done it. And on top of that, staying consistent for me is like, as far as writing songs too, like just living life, like there's no inspiration you can get if you're just in the studio 24/7. Like you got to go, like, that's just me though. Maybe there's people who can do that, but for me, like, go live life. You know what I mean? Once in a while you can go out, with the boys and go to the bar, whatever it may be, whatever club, whatever it may be, right? On a date or whatever. But that to me keeps the consistency because it gives the creative juice, right?
Yeah.
So then we can keep it going.
That's a very interesting thing that you just said, because one of my inspirations is a fellow by the name of Joe Rogan, who has a very popular podcast. Shout out to Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
And he said exactly what you said. He said that in order to come up with more content, he has to go live life. He has to go do mushrooms or have a DMT experience or go travel,
do mushrooms,
or go hunting, or
absolutely,
like live life, and that provides more content for your creativity.
Yeah, which then provides more consistency, which is the question, right? How do we stay consistent, right?
Yeah.
So just being able to stay creative,
Yeah. And also having good people around you. Yeah. Because let me ask you this question. Do the people around you that tell you that the next one has to be better, do you find inspiration in the way that they're living? Are they creating? Are they disciplined themselves?
Yeah. So, I think they are. I think they are. Yeah, man. I think they've continued to grow in their own way, and some of them, have kids and are married now, and finally got that one house that we're looking for. Right. Finally got the wife or partner that they were looking for, and now he's gonna have a kid now, and like he's super happy. Like, cool. Yeah, absolutely, and that's what those people wanted, So to me, I tell them all the time, man, you winning, like you're literally winning, man, and like that's so inspiring to me to be able to keep pushing forward. So absolutely, no one's really asked me that before, but yeah, now that I think about it, Marty, like, yeah, they're progressing in their own way, and where they're not just talking, they're also like proving it themselves.
Yeah, that's so. The way that I see it is, I am I don't consider myself a person who is someone who is quote unquote a leader, or someone who does things first. I like to. I'm not that ambitious, man. I'm just like a regular person. So what I find is very helpful is hanging around people who are similar to that person, who do take risks and follow their heart and follow their dreams and achieve their goals. Because when I'm around those people, that energy is contagious.
Yeah, it really
and
is.
I could kind of just follow that, slip into that environment.
Yeah.
And then by hanging out with them, it's like, whoa, this is very inspirational. This is the way that I should be living.
Right.
And through that, you're able to accomplish so much more than just hanging around people who are doing the contrary.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. In a way, and then you're so right. And one of the ways I keep myself in check, like, because no one's going to be harder on me than myself. Same thing for you, I'm assuming. No one's going to be harder on you than yourself, right? And
True.
You've heard the saying where, show me your best 5 friends. So the 5 people you hang around with the most, and I'll show you who you are. And man, that keeps me in check.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
true.
Because it's like, yeah, man, like it's crazy. Like I can honestly, and I'll admit this to the camera, I'll admit it to you, man. And I don't know if it's because of what I'm doing, like the career that I'm chasing, but I can't really sit here and tell you that I really, really have like a best friend. I like it's so weird to say, right? Because like I have some friends, right, who like, oh, best friends, they've been best friends since high school, whatever, man. It's like, man, a lot of people that I've been around, I don't know if it's because of the music or whatever, like, I've had to sacrifice so much. I've had to sacrifice my family. I'm not with them. I could be with them right now back in Minneapolis, but I'm not. I could go out to the movies with a female. I could go here. I could go there. I could go to the club, but I don't, man. I'm in the studio. I'm like
working.
I'm working, or I'm doing a show, or I'm doing whatever, and it's like, it's about staying consistent and with all that stuff. But you're like, I've really had to like be careful. And I don't know if it's because of that I don't really have, like somebody to really go to. And like growing up, I always heard the saying of it's lonely at the top. And I'm not saying I'm at the top or anything, but it's so true, man. It's so true because like, it's like the higher you go, like, the more time you got to sacrifice. And then you end up on a Saturday night, on a Friday night, like, man, I got no one to call to, go get a beer. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
It's kind of, that's like the other side to like the creative world, which is, you gotta keep it balanced, but that's the way I've experienced it.
Yeah. When I was in this organization called Rio, we had 2 mentors, older mentors, who were the successful professors, and they said this exact same thing. And just like every other successful person says, it gets lonelier at the top, because as you make the sacrifices to become what you want to become, that level of dedication is not really found in too many people. So you find yourself basically weeding out all the people in your life, basically, who are not as dedicated as you want to be. So it just seems like a normal process.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to me that it would be lonelier at the top. But I did hear something very interesting by somebody who is successful. He said, I think this was Jamie Foxx. He said it on Joe Rogan's podcast, I think, that you have to bring the people that are in your life, your so to speak, like day ones, with you. That's why maybe, Drake brought, 40 with him, or, such and such. So I think that's a interesting topic. Or
that is an interesting angle to view in it. I never heard it that way, man.
Yeah.
He said you just bring, that's why you bring the people from day one.
Yeah. You know, Jamie Foxx, he has all of his family living with him. Yeah. So he has his mom, his dad, even though they're separated, they live on separate ends of the mansion or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he has all of his families, his sisters and everything with him, because he wants to have if there's any, he just basically keeps his family close. Yeah. And I mean, the 3 or 4 people that I keep around that advise me, now that you think about it, have been with me before I came out with my first EP or anything. So that's actually I'm just realizing that right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's true. He's not lying. He's telling from experience, because like now that I think about it, it is that way. Yeah. And hopefully, and you know what? And hopefully along the way you do meet people. Like don't get me wrong. Like along the way, hopefully you will meet people who
have the same level of mentality and can build together.
Oh yeah.
How I have with Nine, you know what I mean? How
Exactly.
I have with certain other creative people, you know what I mean? And you will meet people along the way, but there is mainly is like you are weeding out a lot of people like who aren't on the same, you know, because somebody wants to get married and have kids, that's their life, you know.
Sure.
Somebody wants to be an actor, that's their life, you know what I mean? Like you gotta know what you want, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So many people have different pathways in lives. It's, like you said, some people want to be married, you know, have a family, get that house. Some people want to be actors. Some people want to be podcasters. Some people want to be fitness people. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think that it's a good thing to have a diverse circle of influence, because I think that's what makes the best teams. Yeah. Because say, for example, like if you wouldn't be linking up with Johnny if Johnny was specifically like, I don't know, does the same exact thing that you do. Right. Whatever, it's like rap or does melodies or whatever. You know, they're like two accountants is not necessarily the best team. It's more like an accountant and then like, you know, a marketing person and then like a salesperson and then like a legal person. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to be surrounded. Do have to surround yourself with a diverse set of skills. So people who have a diverse set of skills, and that's maybe just specifically for your work. But what about for your social life? Maybe it is good to have somebody who's like really good at having a family, because that's if you want to have a family one day, she or he is a good role model in that aspect. Or a fitness person where you can go to work out with or ask questions about, you know what I mean? So absolutely. Yeah, that's the way that I feel, and I've been fortunate to have a circle of friends who do different things, and I definitely feel blessed, and I definitely feel like I'm one of those people who have like really strong relationships. You know, I was born here in Los Angeles, raised here in Los Angeles. I have friends from like fucking 25 years ago that we went to kindergarten together. Yeah, you know, so I've been fortunate like that, who are doing well. Yeah, and you know, I wonder about myself sometimes, because like you were talking about, and how I hear many people talking about, I was like, yeah, you have to sacrifice, and you have to have like this obsession with success. Dog, I don't have that. Yeah. I just don't, you know? Yeah. I mean, I don't know where it comes from either. I mean, it's just kind of like a thing that I've always kind of had, but you know, one thing my mother was really always big on was, you know, if you're going to do something, just do it right, you know? So what I've noticed, for me to have the level of success that I want in the music business, you know, I kind of have to sacrifice a lot of time with other people and other things, you know? Yeah. So then, you know, and if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it right, you know? Like, I'm not going to half-ass it, you know? I'm going to make sure the work is really good, you know, when it's time to come out. Yeah, for sure. So that's kind of like the whole model behind my brand, the Jairo experience. Like, you know, we're going to do this the right way. You know, otherwise we're not gonna sit here and do it at all, man. Like, yeah, dude, you know what I mean? Your like, video 2 a.m. That's just fucking classic. Oh, bro. Thank you, man. Quality as fuck. Appreciate it. Yeah. You were just talking about a team, and I was just thinking about that particular video. Like, that was the reason I think that was like better than my other music videos, because we really had like 20 people on set. Like, like I really wanted to meet the music. I had a certain vision for it, and there was literally 20 people on set. Jay Trill was there, who is also an artist. He was there helping out, and Nine was there doing a photo shoot with me, and we had a photographer for behind the scenes, photos, the videographer with the assistant had an assistant. You know what I'm saying? You do it right, bro. You definitely do it right. So thank you, man. Appreciate it. And I think that really showed in like over 140,000 views now, and like, man, it was really fun. But it was about a team. I can't do it on my own. Right. That's why I go to Johnny to produce the beats. Right. You know, or someone like Johnny. That's why I have a photographer shoot the things. I can't be shooting the photos myself. Right. So it's about having a strong team. Yeah, that is super important for success. But yeah, I mean, I just wonder about myself sometimes, about how like I don't have like an obscene. Do you feel like you have an obsession with success? Well, I have an obsession with like, I think just wanting to get better. You know what I mean? Yes, I know what you mean. I think that's the only thing, you know, and like, I just have an obsession with getting better. Yeah, see, I think that's a healthy way to go about it, is like, same here, like I am always improving. That's like a small obsession of mine. Like I just want to get incrementally better every day.
Yeah.
Because I know that over time, like a year from now, I'll just be so much better.
Yeah.
I started this podcast like in October of last year, just doing it by myself, where I did this video topic of just get started. Like people want to make sure that every timing and place and money and everything is perfect. You just have to get started in some way to start creating the momentum to get the ball rolling. But I feel like every video, every interview gets a little bit better and better because, again, I'm constantly getting feedback because I watch myself and maybe there's some things that I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. And I think as long as you're trying to get better, that's the whole thing. That's the whole key. Nobody's perfect, As long as you're trying to get better, that's all we can do. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's a good way to go about it.
Yeah. You mentioned motivation before. Who are some of the people that do, like, I saw like a Will Smith video. You were listening like a Will Smith. Like, Will Smith is one of your guys?
I think Will Smith is definitely, I see a lot of myself in him as a person, like in the way that he would run. He like maybe has his family. I think that someday that's the way I'd like to, raise my family. And a lot of it's like the way he thinks. I feel like, man, like that's the way I thought. Like when I see his videos or something, like I really got into him like in 2014, 2012, 13, 14, into like the way he thought about it. And I watched like a lot of Will Smith interviews. He's definitely one, but Eric Thomas is another one. Leslie Brown is probably my favorite motivational speaker. I actually met him.
Hungry. Yeah. I was hungry.
Yeah, I met him a month ago.
You met him?
Yeah, he was speaking at the Marriott or something like that in LA.
I think I saw some advertisement for that.
Yeah, and I went to it, and then he just kind of there was like a few different motivational speakers. He was one of them. The whole thing was great. I advise anybody to go to like anything like that, and whatever you do, I advise for anybody to go and just like. Man, is like it's a different level of thinking. Those people are where they are, Marty, because of the way they think. That's what I got from it. You know what I mean? Like it's no accident. It's no accident where people are with people that are successful. But I got to meet Leslie, got a picture with him, and I wasn't even trying to get a picture. I'm like, man, I was just trying to tell him, and like, you changed my life with this one speech, blah blah blah, and that was cool. But Leslie Brown, Eric Thomas, Zig Ziglar is another one. Rest in peace. That's another motivational speaker. Yeah.
I know every single name that you just mentioned.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I love watching motivational videos because it just gives me a little boost.
Yeah.
Anything, like I was watching this show called Phenoms. It's a soccer It's like a soccer show. It's like a soccer show that presents young up and coming superstars from each country. So like England has one, France has one, and it's so motivational because, like you said, they've had to sacrifice so much, and that's something that I admire about people, is that because I guess I've never done it significantly, but just in small amounts. That sacrifice that people put in order to become what they are is very admirable. And I take a massive amount of inspiration from all different types of things, movies and music and people. And I try to just surround it with, I just try to surround myself with as much cool shit as possible.
Absolutely.
It's easy, man, to slip back into the darkness and to feel depressed and to feel lazy and to self-sabotage yourself. I do that shit all the time.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, and I have those thoughts all the fucking time. And that's the reason why I keep a map right here. It keeps me grounded because I know that the fucking world is so big, and I've been to so many different places, and it almost like puts me in my place a little bit, and it's inspiration. I keep the books over there. I keep my snowboard up here, my plaque, and I just try to surround myself subconsciously. I put it in my passwords, motivational things, so it's just like always on my mind because like you said, it's the way that you think that's gonna get you to that's to where you want to go.
That's the first step, man. And that's literally what I realized. I mean, they talked about so much. There was like 4 different motivational speakers, man. They were all great, but just to long story short, it's the way they think. why they are where they are, man. That's it. And the way they think is like what you're talking about, positive, improving. Everything that we've been talking about right now, man, is literally like what they practice every single day.
Yeah.
You know?
And here's the beauty of it, that they give it away just like we're giving it away.
Yeah.
They create something, they build up themselves in order to give. And through that giving, they get back.
Exactly.
Whether it's monetarily or whether it's through congratulations or whether it's through testimonials.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm trying to follow in their footsteps.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a motivational speaker or whether it's an artist or whether it's a producer or whether it's an actor. Fuck it. Success is all the fucking same. It's a mentality.
It's a mentality, exactly. And the money will come.
And money will come.
I'm a strong believer in that, man. I'm not doing the music thing because of money. I'm not doing a music video like 2 a.m., which is on Jairo Experience. Go check it out. The YouTube channel for the money, man. If anything, it's the opposite way for us. If anything, is the opposite. It's been the opposite way for me for 10 years. I'm losing money.
Right.
I'm investing my money and I'm making no money. Zero. Nada. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's not about the money. That will follow. That will follow. Right. You know, I'd much rather have somebody come up to me and tell me, oh man, your podcast or your song or your movie or your music video, really changed my life. It really made me have a good time, whatever,
Yeah.
As opposed to like, just doing it for the money, and it's like
giving you
like,
$10 or something.
Yeah, as opposed to you giving me money. I'd much rather have you get an experience out of it than you giving me the money.
But the money will follow.
The money will follow.
The money will follow. That's for sure. And I truly believe this as well, because you're putting out content that, again, with the intention, like your intention is to create an experience, and my intention is also to, and I like the way that you put it before when you were using the restaurant analogy about you're there for the burger, but because they got some cool music playing, the service is excellent, the restrooms are really clean,
I'll come back again.
I'll come back again.
I'll come back again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's important, I think, like you said, in order, like, how's the next one going to get better?
Yeah.
How's the next one? How are you going to improve? How are you going to create a better experience? Yeah. And you hear that I forgot which artist said that. I think it was Jay-Z. He said that every time I tried to give the people a better experience, the customers a better show, whatever it is, putting more energy, using better lights, creating more vocals, a more sound quality, just the experience.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to go about it, because it's like a holistic approach, and it also represents a lot about yourself, because you're talking about like the whole thing, the whole experience.
Exactly.
And when I look at you too, you look like a well put together person when it comes to your brain, when it comes to your body, when it just everything,
Yeah.
So how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, man, you're quality.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I mean, that's what it's about. Hopefully the people can see that, and I can build a bigger audience, and just get to a better place where, more people are listening, and they can hopefully see something within themselves that they see in me,
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Wouldn't that be cool? Like, that's what I see in Leslie Brown when I met him, like on Will Smith, I see something in myself that they have, and it inspires me to go do something.
Yeah.
Like, how cool would it be if, like, I'm sure, say, for that to happen to you, for that to happen to me.
Yeah. And I think it's important for you to take in that information that people who are older and more successful than us, parlay that into your own brain, and then act on that, because, and what I mean act is exactly what we're doing right now, exactly what you're doing with your music video, because then people who are, say, you know what, Leslie Brown's too old, I can't relate to him, now are able to relate to you, and then now can start their own shit. So it's like contagious.
Yeah. And advice can come from all kinds of people in any kind of age. I've kind of learned that over the past couple of years. Advice doesn't necessarily have to come from somebody who's extremely older than us. You know what I'm saying? Or someone who's, man, I've had some of the best advice from people who are younger than me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. Which is like, so always be open-minded. I try to be open-minded with people you meet and things like that. Because inspiration and motivation can come from all kinds of places. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Movies, you're mentioning movies. Like, the best movie of all time for me is Gladiator, Russell Crowe. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, of course.
Christopher Nolan, I think is the director.
Maybe. I can see that. He's a big picture thinker.
But you know what I mean, like that's like one of that's like my favorite movie of all time, and there's so much stuff in there that inspires me till this day. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So we're about at an hour right now. So
sweet.
Let's wrap this up, man.
Let's wrap it up.
So Jairo, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Where can people find you on your social media platforms?
Yeah, everything is Jairo Experience. Jairo Experience. Jairo Experience. My Instagram, my Snapchat, my YouTube channel, which is where all my content is at. Go check it out. It's on there, man. Check it out. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Subscribe. Me and 9 Diamond are still in the studio. We got a session in 2 days from now, and we're gonna be bringing more entertainment and more quality
for sure
to the people.
It is. Jairo Experience. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate it.
Peace out.
Peace.